Good afternoon. Hello, this is Constance from Mrs. T Weddings, and today I am continuing the Lockdown Live series with the lovely Bex, the Celebrant. Bex is a bundle of energy and happiness, so get ready for some very positive vibes today. Bex is a Celebrant who has come from a really interesting background, which I'll get her to tell us a little bit about because it is. I've just invited her to join us, so she will hopefully be with us any minute now, and we will be able to hear all about Becca's background and her being a Celebrant. Look, we're in matching outfits.
Oh my goodness! How funny!
We should have memoed each other.
No.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, I'm very well, thank you.
Good.
Thank you for joining us. So
No,
lovely to
thank you
see
for
you.
having me. I did one the other day, and my framing was like, I suddenly at the end of it, apparently you couldn't see any of me. Am I okay? Am I in shot?
You're perfect. I can see every part of your face.
Good to know.
I need to change mine so people stop seeing my roots. So I'm going to start doing it like that, I think. Or just
I think
wearing
it
my
looks
hat.
beautiful. You're working it. I love that hat. Is that a wedding hat? Is that I do?
It is. It's by the sorry, I've just pressed the volume on my phone now. Yeah, it's by the lovely Rebecca. So yeah, it's a Mrs. T Weddings hat. But yeah, we love them. Brilliant. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. So lovely to see your smiley face. Why don't we start by talking about where you've come from, what your background is, because it's fascinating. It's a really good story.
Yeah.
and then we'll get back into the world of weddings and celebrancy after that.
Absolutely, yeah. So, well, my background, I originally trained as a dancer at the Brit School. Shout out, I know there's some people in the industry who also went there actually. And from there, I sort of went on to being a red coat at Butlins, a cruise ship entertainment officer. Like, I've been entertaining people for a while in some capacity. And then I went into working in TV as a TV producer.
Yeah.
And entertaining people but from behind the camera. It all sort of ties in with each other. Like, all the experiences has helped each other career, and they all combined for the Celebrant stuff as well, which is really good.
Brilliant. And it's kind of I always think that of my career as well. It's like all the paths have led to this one goal, and you didn't really realize it while you were on the path, this was where you were going to end up. But actually, now that you're here, you're like, my goodness, this is perfect. I get to use this experience, and it really means that you can make the most of it. Oh, look, Celebrant Helen said, love this. I was a blue coat and did TV too. There we go.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a Celebrant model.
It sets you up really well. It does. Because not a lot of people have that experience of chatting in front of other people. Like, a lot of people say that it's their worst nightmare to stand up in front of a group of people and chat. And that's literally just been my life.
Yeah, exactly. But even things like this, like, you know, the amount of gorgeous suppliers out there, and I'm like, come and do a live with me, and they're like, I can't do it. I can't get in front of the camera. I don't know how you do it. I'm like, oh, really? As far as I'm concerned, it's the same as a Zoom call. I'm just looking at it. But for some people, it's a real blocker, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I love it. And you'll see that from all my reels that I do on my Instagram.
You're brilliant. You're so good at that. You're so good at being out there. So we've spoken to a few celebrants, but let's for anybody who hasn't spoken to, you know, a celebrant before, or isn't too sure how it works, or a little bit nervous about the concept, could you just do the kind of like elevator pitch on what is a celebrant and what makes it different from a civil or wedding, a church wedding?
Yeah, definitely. So my whole thing is, why have an ordinary ceremony when you can have an extraordinary one? So a lot of people, a lot of people say that the ceremony is sort of the boring bit, and they're waiting to get through to the party where they can down their champagne and that sort of thing. Exactly. But my whole thing is that the ceremony isn't the warm-up act. It's actually the most important part of the day. It's why people are there to see you get married. So why should it be that boring thing? You know, it's the time that you're making your vows to each other. But within like a civil ceremony, you are really limited with what you can say to each other. You don't get the freedom of writing your own vows. It's, you can say this or this, and you, all right, we'll give you an option, or you can say this, but that's it.
It's very tick box, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very tick box, and that's the thing. And like, you meet them 5 minutes beforehand so they can check they've got your name right, and that's it. You don't know who you're getting. So with a celebrant, you can put your personality into it. We can put all the things that make you you.
Yeah.
It's all based around your love story. So I get to know you as a person and as a couple, and tell your love story in a way that you might not have heard before, and definitely the guests there won't have heard before.
Yeah.
We put fun bits in, we get rid of all the boring stuff that people don't really care about, and we just make it you. But we can have fun stuff like, you know, in a church you might have a sing-along where you're all singing from a hymn book. Well, we can do that, but we can do it with like Bohemian Rhapsody or your favourite song or that sort of thing.
Song or something that everyone knows.
Have that like Love Actually moment. But it's also great because you can take all the traditional stuff that you like I can do really traditional weddings as well that just have that more personal feel, or we go totally crazy and quirky. I hate that word, but it is that, you know, it describes it well. It's just the freedom. I think the freedom and personality is what makes it different.
Yeah, it really makes it into a customized ceremony rather than carbon copy of what everyone else has done and you've been to a million times. Absolutely.
Yes. Exactly. And everything is written for you. It's not like a copy and paste job. Like I sit here and I write everything based upon you. If you've got favourite quotes, I put them in throughout, and it's just, it's just nice.
I think that's a really good point, actually, because I think lots of people who don't know about Celebrants think that, oh, well, I'll get, you know, their ceremony is probably a bit more conservative, but a little bit woo. And then you kind of like, well, no, actually, everything's about you guys. So there isn't like, this is what I say is my intro, this is my middle bit, you know, it isn't formulaic. It is very much just about the couple and what they want and need. Yeah.
If you don't want something, like a lot of people some people like to follow the traditional, you know, walk down the aisle, welcome, a reading, your vows, maybe another reading, that sort of thing, which we can do. We can add crazy stuff through it if you want, but again, we don't have to. But with the readings, it's like even them, they don't have to be the stuffy poems that you find in an old library book. It can be your favourite disco song, and halfway through everyone realizes it's lyrics to your favorite song. You're like, oh my god, who knew it was so romantic? Like it's just flipping everything to be you, basically.
I love that. Brilliant. And so what would you say, or who would you say are the types of couples that tend to go down the celebrant route?
So I think the couples that book me are the ones that want something a little bit different. They're not so traditional in that, well, they're definitely not religious. I do not want a church wedding, which I get. They don't necessarily want...
Or you get one half that is religious, but the other that's very anti the religious side. And so this is a nice halfway house, because you can still... You know, it's not completely expelling all the kind of traditions that you can have in a church, like you said earlier, but it's just not under... God's roof.
Exactly. And I'm, you know, because I'm an independent celebrant, I'm able to incorporate religious bits. If you want the religion in there, we can absolutely put it in. But it's people that want something a little bit different and they want it more personal. And some people are just, it's more that they're really chill and they don't want this stuffy, formal thing. They just want to have fun with their friends. And I think it's the case that, because I always say I'm not the warm-up act, we start the party here. It's adding the elements to still make it romantic and lovely and tradition where needed, but being able to have the party starter and have the fun bits where people are cheering and people are laughing and happy crying and that sort of thing. The Celebrant of Surrey is blend both things, absolutely. And it's all about what they want. It's not, this is what I have to tick box this. If whatever you want, we will do. I say without limit. I mean, there are some limits that I may have.
You're happy to be challenged on what your limits are.
I'm going to refrain from nudist beaches for now, but you know,
nudity was all I was thinking of as well.
I know. That's where our brains go. That says a lot.
It says a lot, doesn't it? Also, TV production. What was it you were just casting for recently?
I mean, I've absolutely, hands up, don't judge me for this, but I have cast for Naked Attraction before. But don't let it whether you book me or not.
Exactly. There won't be any of that casting going on while you're deciding if you'll be their celebrant.
Exactly.
Keep your pants on, everybody.
I'm like that.
That's a nice rule. That's a nice,
Yeah,
tidy
that's a
rule.
great rule. Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay. And I think also another group of people that really, you know, a Celebrant works well with is the international crowd. You know, people that are coming over from abroad to have a ceremony over in the UK. It works really well, doesn't it? Because,
Yeah.
you know, they may well have had to do the legalities in another country, or they may have, you know, done a religious part in another country, but they're doing something in the UK, but they still want that structure of the ceremony being the beginning of their wedding day.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that's what it is. It's still making it your day and it's special for you. Like, you know, on the flip side of that as well, people who get married abroad and have had a really intimate wedding, when they come home, they still want to be able to celebrate with everybody. And actually, a really nice way to do that is to still have the ceremony that that other people can get involved in, so it feels like they were a part of it as well. Yeah, it's just, I think it's a great way as well for including guests. Like, it is all about you, but all your guests will have such a good time and be more invested because they're listening to something they care about, and you address them like you're talking to the guests as well as you, so then you're automatically listening like, oh my god, I remember that party where she absolutely got that wasted, you know, like, and it just makes them feel involved.
I think it's also, you know, the flexibility that you can get married anywhere. You know, I think, you know, one of my friends, they got married in the town hall on the Friday, I think it was, and then on the Saturday we had a ceremony in the middle of the woods with you know, a celebrant-led ceremony, and it was just magical. You know, they'd done the legal bit the day before, but today was about the true ceremony, but it was in the woods, we had cocktails in our hands, like, it was magical.
Beautiful.
So, which, you know, you can't do when it comes to a civil ceremony.
Exactly. It totally lifts the restrictions. Like, when you're having a civil ceremony, it has to be at a licensed venue, and usually that is inside, or if it's outside, it's got to be like under a roof, basically. So it limits quite a lot of places for the people who want that festival style, or the woods, like, that sort of thing, a bit more enchanted and a bit different. This opens it up to that. It might even be places like the restaurant that you had your first date in, and it's a beautiful place. Get married there, at a theatre, a cinema, like a weird warehouse where it's just totally blank canvas. It opens it up so much, especially now in COVID times when people are starting to get worried that venues are booking up. They are starting to book up, of course they are, but that doesn't mean you have to wait to get on their list or anything like that. You change your thought about where you might have your wedding, actually it opens up so many more possibilities for you.
Yeah, definitely. It makes you much more creative, and it makes for a much more unique wedding, which I think everyone's looking for at the moment, you know, so it's a really nice way to do it.
Yeah, and that, like, COVID and lockdown has changed people's priorities. It's now not necessarily about a massive big white wedding, which obviously I love a big white wedding, but it's more about actually the people that I want there are the people that I care about most. So do you know what? I might not invite that weird uncle that I haven't seen for 10 years. I don't actually know why he's invited. And I've got the prerogative to do that now, and I care about that. And I just want everyone to have fun.
Exactly.
And that's why,
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's, you know, now's a really good time to be looking at celebrants. And I think, you know, whether it be because of COVID or just because we've now got a different approach to what a wedding's about, I think it's just perfect. You know, it gives us that freedom, which is just exactly what we need. So what, you know, people that have booked your, you know, when you're having your consultations with couples, what are the things that people worry about? Like, let's nip it in the bud. You know, what are the problems that, you know, you kind of get thrown at you that make people go, well, actually, maybe I'm not sure?
Yeah, well, the biggest one, obviously, is that the celebrant-led wedding isn't a legal ceremony, which, quite frankly, is not legally binding. If you want the legally binding section, you do have to go and do that at a registry office. But I think it's got a bit of a stigma behind it. And I'm really passionate about talking about this because it's so frustrating. So my analogy that I give, which I'm sure other people do as well, when someone has a baby, you have to register that baby's birth for legal reasons. But that doesn't mean that the baby doesn't already exist. It doesn't mean that the baby hasn't been born, or that's the date that you celebrate its birthday. It's literally just the legal admin. And that's the same with the weddings. If you see your celebrant wedding as your wedding day, and that's where you're creating your personal vows to each other, that's the most important day, then maybe like on a Monday afternoon when it's raining, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, go and sign the legal paperwork with 2 witnesses, not make it a thing like it's just something you've got to do. Then,
or make it into a thing, but just have 2 things.
Yeah, exactly. However you want to see it and do it. Yeah. But I think that as long as you see your wedding as the main day, then that, you know, it's like Harry and Meghan. They obviously had their big ceremony in front of the cameras, and that was their legal ceremony. But then Meghan came out and said, actually, 2 days before, we had a ceremony that was just us, and that's we said our vows to each other, and that's what she classes her proper one. So it's the time that you have your personality, that you share your vows, actually, that's what matters. And I think people have a stigma that if they have to go to a registry office, there's a bit of a, you know, oh, it's not really real until you've done that, but it's just work.
It is, you know, and often another analogy people use is moving house. You know, when you buy your house, you've got to sign the paperwork, but you don't call that your moving in date. No. You know, your moving in date is the day that you step through the door, you know, and get the keys. And that's the one that's really exciting, not the day when you actually sign the paperwork, because that's all a bit formulaic. Yeah,
exactly. It's totally that. And I think if you change your mindset on that, you'll open up to so many more possibilities. I just think that's the biggest thing. The biggest thing that people wouldn't or be put off booking a celebrant is the legal side, and I think that's the main and only thing. Because if it was legal, I say legal, it sounds like it's illegal. If it was legally registered, it's not illegal.
When naked, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. If it was legally registered or legally binding, whatever, then I think everybody would do it. Why would you not have a celebrant wedding? So it's just that side of it, really. But
yeah, totally brilliant. And so tell me some of the crazy, wacky ideas and types of ceremony that you've delivered, you've thought of, you've got planned. What's on the agenda?
Do you know what? I go from one end of the scale to the other. So I've got one coming up in the next couple of weeks where it's literally myself and the couple on a beach in Kent. No guests, just us 3.
Beautiful.
It's going to be so beautiful, so lovely. And then on the other side, we've got like a big get together where everybody gets to stay overnight in the barn, and there's loads of camping, and they're having a real festival vibe. We've got sing-alongs, we've got like confetti cannons. It's like more party festival vibe. With everything in between, there's ones, you know, really traditional hand fasting ceremonies, which are beautiful. They look amazing, and they really include guests and your friends and family. And it has the, you know, the more spiritual ties or the connections and rituals. But my favourite thing to do is literally to hear ideas from a couple or hear their favourite things and come up with something we can do that is different but is them. If they're not all showy, glitzy jazz hands type thing, we don't have to do any of that. It can be more reserved. If they're they don't like being centre of attention, okay, we're going to put you to the side. You can sit down or you can stand, but you can be more with your guests and be a part of them rather than centre stage, look at us, because that really puts people off. Whereas some people want all the attention, like bride entrance.
All your Bristol compatriots.
Absolutely. I'll choreograph a flash mob for you if you want.
Please do.
Literally, someone have a flash mob, please, because I'll get involved. I love it. But yeah, all stuff like that. It's just the being creative. Even coming up with ideas myself based on chatting to couples, and I'm like, oh, actually, we could maybe do this. Like, I thought of that. How can we involve that? So it's just fun and nice. And my favourite thing of all is getting to know the couples, and I genuinely feel like I'm going to my friends' weddings. Like the ones coming up, I have to invite myself. I know, I'm so excited for that. I'm like, oh my god, you're getting married. Oh no, I'm doing your wedding, but you know, I'm still really excited, and it feels like my friends, and I'm watching them grow. I love it.
It is, and you want somebody that really cares that you're getting married. You know, I think it's really, you know, kind of soul destroying when somebody marries you and they're just literally doing a piece of paperwork and reading a script, and then they're like, right, done, on to the next one. You know, it's just, there's something really kind of sad about that. You know, it's such a huge moment in your life that you really want somebody that actually wants to be there, not just for the money.
Exactly that. And it's like, you know, civil ceremonies, they might do 3 or 4 weddings in a day. I'm never going to book another, like, your day is yours. You have me there. I mean, you might have to throw me off the dance floor at the end, but you know, I'm there. I'm invested in your lives now.
Yeah, and I'm never leaving. Watch out, people. Bex is coming. No, that's really good. I love that. That's you know, I think it's so important that you really get invested. And so let's talk about that. So how does the process work? From when somebody first inquires, you know, drop you a DM or send you an email or something, how does it go from there?
So a couple will get in touch with me, obviously asking if I'm free, that sort of thing. And if I'm free, then I arrange a no obligation chat with them, video call over Zoom, just so that I get a sense of who they are, what sort of vibe they want for their wedding, what they've got planned, all of that sort of stuff. And also they can see what I'm like, because during this process, you chat to your celebrant a lot and you really become friends with each other, which is one of the great things about it. So you've really got to like that person and not find them annoying. So I encourage them, like, if you think that I'm not the person for you, don't book me, find someone else. But, you know, I think it's so important to get that person that's right for you.
Yeah, exactly the same with the wedding planner. I'm like, we're going to be working so closely with each other. If I'm not your person, don't worry, that's fine. Let's move on. Like, let's like each other, because it's going to make each of our lives so much easier.
It's totally that. It's totally that. And I think if you're asking for something that I don't think I would personally give you the best option for that, and I know someone that would, I'd rather you, for your day, to have the best day, to go to them. So we have a chat back and forth. They'll tell me their ideas, and I might come up with some suggestions of what we can do for that. And then if they decide to book me, which, you know, is always lovely, we get to know each other. So I send like a questionnaire where I get to know the couples. We do one together and individual ones as well, because I like to have a few secret lines that they don't know about, which I can interject, or it really helps with the vows as well. And then we also arrange a meetup. So obviously at the moment everything's been over Zoom, but I'd much rather meet people in person to go through the whole day, have a little
not long.
No, I'm so excited. One of my couples was saying, oh yeah, well, we can arrange to actually meet up face to face, and I was like, oh my god, literally in like 2 weeks you're able to do that. So so meet up with them, chat and get excited about the ceremony. You know, I'm there for every stage. I'll help you write your vows if you want. I can write them for you. I always encourage my couples to write them themselves. But I've got a bit of a formula worked out that will just make it super easy for you. I help them pick readings if they want readings. I just go through every bit of the day so that they know on the day there's not going to be any surprises. They know, unless they want a surprise, in which case we can do that too. But
flash mob.
That's like the bridesmaids if they want to get involved. But anyway, they know exactly what they're doing, and they know that I'm there with them on the day. So it's not a random person. It's someone that they've chatted to. They know how it works. I can be a source
They can trust you.
Yeah, they can trust. It's exactly that. They can trust me, but also know that because I'm familiar to them now, actually it feels a bit nicer and more calming. They'll be less nervous about it. And it's just seeing it through the whole process. I write a first draft, they can edit it, hopefully not too many edits because I will have got what they want exactly. But if they need to edit things, you know, they've got free reign of that. As many phone calls, text messages, WhatsApp groups as they want, you know. And I like to check in with people as well. So I'm a mental health first aider, which is something that's really important to me. And a big event like this, even if you love every minute of the planning process, it's such a huge event that the littlest things can sort of almost send
very overwhelming.
So I like to check in with people. Aside from the wedding, I'll just have chats with them, send them a Schitt's Creek gift to just be like, how you doing? What are you up to? And they'll be like, oh my God, my florist has just done this and it's so nice. Like, don't even worry about it. So I'm there not just in the wedding capacity, but also just make sure everyone's all right. But this is why I feel like we're besties.
Really cementing that friendship.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I like them to be memorable.
I love that. And I think at the moment you have a special offer on for anyone that's thinking about booking you.
Yeah, so literally finishing at the end of this month. So, oh my gosh,
long,
that's not long at all. So, like next week, isn't it? Or the week after. At the moment, if you book before the end of March for a wedding before the end of December next year, you get 20% off of the price. I mean, obviously, travel's on top of that if travel is needed, but that's a whole other thing. But yeah, 20% off your ceremony. Yeah. But literally until the end of March,
basically. And just quickly, where are you located for anybody that's kind of thinking about you and wondering if you're the right area for them?
So I'm Southeast London / Kent. So I'm in Kent, but I'm in a London borough, so I can be either. But I go all over. So my main places that I sort of cover more the home counties, Hampshire, Essex, Surrey, Sussex, all of those sorts of things. But I do travel wherever. And also, if you want to invite me to a wedding in Ibiza, I'm there. Please.
Quick to get in there. Yeah. Any Italian, Ibiza, Spanish, anywhere with a little bit of heat.
Yeah, the Amalfi Coast. Yes.
Yeah, that'd be a nice one, wouldn't it? Yeah. Lemon themed wedding. Oh, wouldn't it be nice to be there now? Looking out onto the grey day.
I know, I would love it. Imagine. One day soon.
One day we will travel again. Brilliant. Well, look, thank you so much for all of this. Very informative, very useful. Lovely to get to see your sunny personality shine through, which is lovely because I think it's really important. Like you said, you know, the number one thing for people that are thinking about Celebrant is really getting to know who it is that they're going to be working with. And you've got personality in abundance. So all your positive vibes fed through, which is lovely. For anyone who wants to get in touch, what's the best way for them to get in touch with you?
So they can message me. Well, if you go on my Instagram, I'm Bex the Celebrant UK, or my website is bexthecelebrant.com. You can drop me an email or a DM. I get told off by my husband because I'm always on my phone and I always reply straight away.
You do. I can agree. She does. Like every time I message.
Before you've even pressed send, I'm like, yeah. No, I need to rein that in really. But I'm just always on my phone, so why would I not reply? Anyway,
very good.
They're the best ways of reaching me anyway.
Perfect. And then you'll set up that free, no obligation Zoom call. They'll have a chat with you, figure out if you're the right combination for each other, and then get booking and then start that process.
That's it. Exactly.
And meet up.
Yay!
Which is
have
amazing.
A prosecco or a pink gin.
Get your order in quick.
Exactly. I'll get the first round. It's fine.
Oh, that's generous. That's nice. I feel like there would be a lot of rounds.
Yeah. I'm not just staying for one.
Brilliant. Look, thank you so much for your time today. Have a lovely week. What a great start to the week. And I will speak to you soon. Thank you, my dear. Bye. Thanks to everyone. Bye.